Hi, my name is Kimberly and I'm a senior recreation therapist with the Forever in Motion program. Thanks for joining me today with our Forever in Motion class. Let's start by warming up. So as we start to warm up the body, I'll just run through a few things. So for today's class, we are going to do a little bit more of an advanced class a little bit here. We had a request to do a little bit more floor work, so I'm going to do some floor work today, and I thought I would do a little bit more advanced balance exercises as well. And so I am going to call this an advanced class. So if you're brand new, I will give you some seated options. I'll always remind you of those options to sit down and do exercises, to stand behind your chair, but I will be doing a little bit more advanced things. I will be doing some exercises where we'll get down on the ground, and I will be doing some more advanced balance exercises. So if you're brand new, maybe you want to try one of our other videos for today and work your way up to this video. Okay, let's start by warming up. So as we warm up the body here, let's start by tapping the toe in front here. And I like to suggest let's do opposite arm, opposite leg as we're warming up here just a little bit. So I'm swinging my arms, standing tall. Let's start thinking about our ABCs of posture. And what that stands for is abdominals in, or draw your belly button to your spine. Tuck your bum, and we're doing this so that we neutralize our pelvis or have a nice neutral spine. We're gonna have our chest lifted. I might roll my shoulders back and down to do that, and chin tucked. So those are our ABCs of posture. Okay, let's do 4 more. 3, 2, 1, and march it out. Okay, let's do a V step here. So we're going to go wide, wide, narrow, narrow, knowing that we can always adjust the intensity as we'd like. So maybe I would like to go a little bit slower today. Maybe I am just getting back at it. So you could go a little slower. You could go a little faster to increase the intensity. We could lift and lower the legs a little bit more to increase the intensity. You can also add some impact to that as well. And then on the reverse, know that you could always hang on to the back of the chair as you're doing this if your balance is just a bit off today. Or you could do all of these things in seated as well, if that's what felt comfortable for you today. Or at any time, feel free to sit down and do the same things. Okay, now you'll notice we're leading with one leg here for starters. Let's switch up lead legs. So we want to make sure that what we do on one side, we do on the other side. So 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Let's tap down, and then you're going to switch with the other lead leg. So the other leg will start the movement. We tend to have a dominant side that likes to lead, or that likes to kind of start off or be that dominant side, so it's good to work both sides equally, which is why we're now doing probably our non-dominant side here. So as we continue to warm, just a couple other things. You'll notice that I have a set of weights and I have a band, or you can have a tubing. I've chosen a little bit heavier weight today, and being that this is a little bit more of an advanced class, I would suggest if you are able to have a little bit heavier weight, a little stronger tubing that has a little bit more resistance or band, then feel free to choose that. You could also choose to double up your weight. So maybe you only have a set of 3 pound at home. You could always choose to double up that set of 3s. Okay, and 4 more. 3, 2, and last one, march it out. The other thing you'll notice that I have is a water bottle nearby. We always want to make sure we stay hydrated, so have that close by as well. Let's go into an alternate knee. So let's bring that knee up, alternating sides. Again, standing tall. You might find that your belly button naturally just pulls the spine as you bring that knee up. So thinking about standing tall, kind of starting to engage the core a bit. Option here to alternate hand touching opposite knee here. A little bit of rotation again, a little bit more in the core as we do that. And whatever we do to the front, we want to make sure we do to the back. So since we're having those knees that come in front, now let's transition to hamstring curl in 4, 3, 2, 1, and hamstring curl. Heel kicks the bum. And I'm going to do a nice easy row with that right now. It just feels comfortable. But know that your arms don't always have to be the same or the standard arms you might do for a movement. You can always do something different as well. Why don't we try to mix it up? So while I'm doing that hamstring curl or heels kicking my bum, why don't we do jumping jack arms, or what would normally traditionally be jumping jack arms, with that instead. So for our motion, we really love to work on falls prevention or injury reduction. We know falls are going to happen, but we want to make sure that we are doing as much as we can so that when falls do happen, we're less likely to be injured from that fall. So this cardio section, this is good for our heart and our lungs, of course, but you'll notice that I'm alternating sides. I'm shifting my weight from one side to the other. So when you think about it, that's balance training, because in everyday life, we shift from one foot to the other as we go up and down stairs, as we vacuum, as we do many of our tasks of their activities of daily living. And so this will help us to be more stable on our feet. Okay, last 4, 3, 2, 1, and march it out again. Great, let's do a tap to the side this time. So tap to the side together, tap to the side together. So a light tap, we're gonna reach our arm across the body. I find just by crossing the midline of the body and reaching across, I feel my core engaged just a little bit for that. So you might find that as well. And again, just a quick reminder, maybe at this point, you're feeling like you've almost had enough, or that your heart rate's up a little bit too high. You could always sit down and do these same movements, or you could hold on to your chair behind, or if you're feeling okay standing with me, then continue to stand. Our warm-up is usually about anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes to get the blood flowing, get the synovial fluid in our joints warmed up so that our joints feel better when we do the exercises, and less risk of having an injury from doing exercises. So we want to make sure we're fully warmed up. Let's make that just a little bit bigger. Maybe reach a little further across. And again, you're adjusting your speed and the impact depending on how you're feeling today. And last 4, 3, 2, last 1. And finally, let's tap back. I like to make sure that we're doing things forward, side, and back so that we're warming up all parts of the body. Here we did a hamstring curl already. Let's do a tap back here now to wrap up our warm up. And how about with that tap back, we do a diamond arms. So this will be a little trickier on our brain to have to think through that. Okay, last 4, 3, 2, and last 1. And march it out again. Okay, let's bring that heart rate gradually down. So we had a nice little warm up there, something along the lines of 7 to 10 minutes. We want to bring our heart rate back down before we get into the strength and endurance portion of it. Know that if you were wanting to get more cardio in here, this would be a great time. You could pause the video, you could go for a walk. You could also do your cardio at the end of the strength-based portion. I find that's a nice way to distribute the lactic acid, kind of prevent us from being a little bit sore later on. I am going to do a little bit of an interval style though. We are going to have some cardio intervals. So we're going to make sure that we get some cardiovascular as well as our muscle strength today. As I mentioned, this will be a little bit more of an advanced class today. Let's just alternate going to one toe and the other. I really like this one because it's working on a little bit of ankle mobility. So just we're lifting up our heel, stretching that foot. That way, as we're going up and down the stairs, I have a deck that I come up and down off of. That just helps us to have our ankles a little bit more mobile to be able to bend uneven surfaces. Let's take a few nice deep breaths here at this time. Inhale all the way up and exhale, and inhale all the way up and exhale. Great. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. One more good chance to have good posture, good set position. Oh, okay, good. Great job. Nice to warm up. Grab yourself a quick drink of water here. Okay, then we will get into our strength-based portion. So as I mentioned, we're going to do a little bit more up and down off the floor, and we're going to do a little bit more advanced movements here. So let's start with a little bit of a back one here. This is one that one of our Forever Motion leaders that used to lead our class at Shaw Center, Kelly, she used to do this one. She calls it the Prince Charming. She used to do it with a Bosu ball, but I'm going to do it with my mat in front here. So you can have your mat in front, and you know what? I'm going to actually really quickly grab a little bit lighter weight. This one here is for our upper back, and I do find it's a little bit weaker muscle group. It's a little bit smaller muscle group. So I'm going to have a slightly lighter set for this one here. So what we're going to do, we're going to come down to one knee. Now, note that you do not have to come down to one knee. That doesn't feel good for you today. You can always just stand tall, hinge forward at the hip. So instead of on one knee, you can simply be leaning forward. We're going to have our hands hanging down, and we're going to bring our arms out to the side and then back down. I like this one because I can rest my chest on my thigh as I do that, really focusing my attention on that upper back. And because I'm leaning forward so far, I really am working that upper back. Now keep going with that if that feels comfortable. Just really quick, that standing option, shoulders back and down, belly button to spine, and we could do that in standing position, or we could be doing that in seated position too. We always have lots of options. Okay, if you're still going there, let's try for 3 more, 2 more, and last one. We're aiming for somewhere between 10 to 14. So now to get up, we're going to use that knee for support. You could always use a chair as well, and we're going to press up. I do find like it's very functional to have to get on and off, up and down off the floor. Maybe you have grandkids that you like to play with or get down on the ground with. Maybe you've dropped something on the ground and you have to pick it up. So I actually like that opportunity to be able to get on and off the floor. So let's add a little bit of a cardio interval here as we allow those muscles to kind of shake out and relax. So we're just doing a step touch side to side. Right now my arms and legs are going in the same direction. You want a bit more challenge on your brain, because I love brain health. Then you can have those arms and legs going in opposite direction. So I'm going to just do one set of every exercise today, but you could progress and you could actually do 2 sets of everything. So this would be an opportunity, once we're done this cardio interval, for you to pause your video, do 1 more Prince Charming, an upper back fly, do 1 more step touch to the side, and then you can join us for the next one. Or you could go through all of our cardio and strength and then do just a second round of them all. But that's another option as well if you'd like to increase the intensity gradually. Okay, let's shake it out. Let's move on to chest. As I mentioned, we're going to do a few more exercises that we're gonna be on the ground for. So we're gonna do a chest fly. So I will grab my heavier weights for this one today. So I'm gonna grab my weights and then come down to the floor. So a couple ways we can get down. We can bend our knees and kind of scooch onto our bum. If that's not available for us, we could put our weights down. We could bend, bring our hands out in front, walk our hands forward, and then swivel onto the bum. Whatever works for you to get down, doesn't have to be graceful. So maybe watch me to start with. I'm going to be sitting down. I'm going to lay back, making sure I'm somewhat in the view here of the camera. Our elbows are going to be at a 90-degree angle here, and we're going to press those hands up in front and then bring those hands back down. This is our chest press. So I'm using weights here for chest, so I need to be laying down to be able to work against gravity. If the laying down option for you today just isn't available, you've probably done with us before where you put the band or tubing behind your back and you're going to do the exact same movement. So your hands are going to come together in front and bring back, but you can do this in standing position with your band instead. We want to make sure we're breathing at the same time. So I'm going to exhale as I bring those hands up, inhale as I bring those hands back down. And 3 more. 2 more. Now, I know you're stopping sooner if you've already reached fatigue, the part where you point where you feel like you can't quite do one more. Otherwise, you're going for the last one, and we're done. I'm going to place the weights down here, just being careful that I'm not bringing my arm to the side, for example. I might kind of pull my rotator cuff if I do that. So I'm just going to gently put them down, make sure they're out of my way to get up. And however we want to get up, maybe I grab onto the back of my thigh, I give a little lift up as I come up, and then roll over. Again, this is good practice to get up off the floor if you've had a fall. I'm going to press down, I'm going to roll over onto one side, walk my feet up, walk my hands up, and there we are, all ready to go again. I'm going to make sure my equipment is out of the way so that it's not a tripping hazard. And let's do another cardio interval. This time, let's do a wide and narrow. So out, out, in. So again, slowing it down to make it a little bit easier, speeding up to go a little harder. We could also add just a little bit of impact. So if you wanted to, adding just a little bit of a hop to that to make it a little bit more intense. Now we're going to make sure we do both sides here. 3, 2, and last one, tap down, switch sides, other way this time. A teeny bit of impact on our body is actually good for us, helps to build up our bone density. And last 4, 3, 2, and last one, and march it out. Okay, let's grab a drink of water again. How are we doing here? We doing okay today, everybody? Feel free to give me a thumbs up when you're doing okay. I really love to hear how you're doing. Okay, moving on to lower back, a bit more of our bigger muscle groups here. So let's give a single arm row for this one here. So this is a pretty big muscle group. So maybe one weight is enough. Maybe you could consider grabbing 2 weights. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back. We're going to hinge forward, keeping our head, neck, and spine all in line. Again, thinking about those ABCs of posture. One hand is going to be on the leg. So if my left leg is forward, my left hand is on that left leg. My right hand has the weight. And I'm going to bring my hand from parallel to my knee, to my hip, back down to my knee, and back to the hip again. Now, like I said, that's a pretty major, pretty big muscle group. I am going to consider taking 2 weights today for that one. So Maybe if you've got a set of 3s, you could double that up. A set of 5s, you could double that up. Keeping that elbow nice and close to the side here. So we're primarily in our strength-based portion here now, although we're adding some cardio intervals. But knowing that by building up our muscles and strengthening our bones, when we do have a fall, or if we have a fall, then we're going to be less likely to injure ourselves for that fall. So this is a really important component of our physical activity. That's great. Sorry, I could have counted you down there. But this is a really important part of our physical activity journey because strong muscles and bones really help us to do all of our activities of daily living. As I've mentioned, when we do have a fall, to reduce injuries from falls. Make sure you're still breathing at the same time here. So we're going to exhale as we bring that arm up, inhale as we bring that arm down. I know lots of older adults love to walk, and I love to hear that. Walking is great for cardiovascular. If you're using poles at the same time, then the poles will also increase our strength. But there's nothing that replaces really good just strength training with weights and bands. I'm going to do 2 more. I think I'm at fatigue. 1 more, and last time. Okay, let's stand up. Place those weights back down. And let's do another cardio interval. Let's do a mambo. We're going to step forward and step back. Step forward and step back. Okay, again, we can keep it a little bit simpler. Not having a lot of knee bend to that. We could increase the intensity by bending those knees just a little bit. If we want to work on the hip mobility a little bit, we might shake the hips and move the hips side to side. We could also add the shoulder roll, just again, doing whatever feels right for you. Any of those options there. 2 more. And last one, let's switch sides. Now other leg forward and back. Again, we could keep this nice and simple. Stepping forward and stepping back. And again, this is falls prevention because we are transferring our weight from one foot to the other. We could add a little bit more hips to that, add some shoulder rolls. And there you go, you're ready for Mexico. Okay, 4 more. 3, 2, and last one. Very nice. Okay, march it out. Grab yourself a drink of water. Okay, moving on to shoulders here now. So I'm going to grab a little bit lighter weight for this one here. Again, I've got a lighter set and I've got a heavier set. I'm going to grab a lighter weight for this one here. And we're going to do a lateral raise. So let's start again with good set position. Shoulders back and down, chest is lifted. We're going to have our palms facing forward. If you have any sort of shoulder issues, I just find palms forward prevents any shoulder impingement. We're going to bring our arms out to the side and then slowly lower those arms back down. Exhale as we bring those arms up. Inhale as we bring those arms down. We have the option to have a solid base or wide base of support. We could challenge our balance and our core just a little bit by bringing those feet in together. We could have a little bit more of a challenge by standing on one foot. Here comes our advanced balance stuff here. Or we could do reciprocal, where we're alternating as one arm comes up, one arm comes down. So you can see I start getting just a little bit wobbly with this. So not only am I working my medial deltoids, I'm also working my core on that stabilizing leg, the leg that's holding me up. I'm working the inner and outer thigh. So I'm actually going to switch sides there real quick for the last 4. 3, 2, whew, and last one. Oh, starting to feel that in the shoulders for that one. And you might have noticed that the last few, I slightly bent to my elbows just a little bit. We can always make something harder by having a longer lever or straightening those arms a bit, or slightly easier by bending those elbows just a little bit, which is shortening the lever length. Okay, give those a bit of a shake. Let's do a jumping jack here now. So let's alternate our feet. This would be my lower impact jumping jack. If it was available for you today, maybe you could consider adding a teeny bit of a hop with that as you alternate sides. Or if you are feeling great today, you might consider a full jumping jack. So know you have all of those options to choose from. I'm going to go with middle of the road here with a little bit of a hop to my jack. And if you're feeling like, oh, I'm just having enough almost, I feel like I need a bit of a break, you could sit down at any time and do any of these exercises. Always having that option to sit down at any time. And last 4, 3, 2, and last 1. Great. Whew. Okay, shake up those shoulders. Give a little stretch with that. Ah, that's great. Okay, I'm gonna have a quick drink again. Let's move into biceps here now. So for this one here, heavier leg. I'm gonna grab a little bit heavier weight for this one here. Biceps are a shorter lever. We're gonna be bending at the elbow, so just depending on your strength of your biceps. And we are going to add a little bit of a squat with that. So know that you always have the option just to do that squat. You have the option of just doing that hammer curl, or you have the option to do both. So my hips are gonna go back, and I'm gonna bring my hands up on the way up. Hips go back on the way down, and coming back up. Great, looking good. Good. Now some things about our squat, something to think about. We want to kind of avoid this. We really want to think about those hips going back. Our knees can come forward a little bit, but we won't want that movement where we just bend those knees and that's it. We really want to think about those hips coming back, almost imagining like we are about to sit in a chair. Now my feet are about shoulder width or hip width apart. I'm doing a little bit of a narrow squat. That will be working a little bit more of the outer part of my quadricep. And a little bit later, I might try doing a little bit of a wide squat, which will work more of the inside part of the quadricep. And it's good to do a little bit of both. It's good to have balance in those muscle groups. I'm going to do 2 more here. And last one. Great. Okay, you can put that down. And I don't know if I said this, but no, only go as far as it feels comfortable for you. Don't ever feel like you have to go further than what feels comfortable. For our cardio interval, let's do a heel dig in front. Again, we could stay lower impact, 1 foot on the ground at all times, or if it's available to you today, maybe doing just a little bit of a hop with that. Always have the option to increase or decrease the intensity based on how you're feeling today. Feel free to come and sit on the chair there if that is what feels best. Oh, in the last 10 seconds here, can you cross right over left, left over right? And 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice work. March it out. Grab yourself a drink of water. Then we're going to get into triceps. We're again going to get down on the ground for triceps. So working our way down to the floor, let's do tricep push-ups. So I'm going to give you 3 options of these, and we're going to do this for tricep, but know that you could also do this for a chest push-up as well. So I'm actually going to double up on that, so I have a little bit more mat underneath my knees. We're going to come down to our knees. You might want to watch first. We have the option of tabletop position. So for triceps, my hands are going to be nice and narrow. So hopefully you can see on there that my hands are just underneath my shoulders. I'm going to turn my elbows so the crease of my elbows is facing forward, and my elbows would come down towards the floor and back up. So that's one option. We have the option of coming down, so we're on our knees. My bum is tucked under, so nice straight long spine, and then from there I come down and up. And then if maybe you have lots of strength today, maybe you're choosing to do this from the toes, and that's also an option. I'm going to choose from my knees today, and we're going to come down and up. So let's give that a try. And you might say today that's just not available to you today. So you could take your band instead, bring that band behind the back, and you could press out like this. It'll be the exact same as doing a tricep push-up on the floor. So we're probably about 5 or 6 right now. Okay, I think I've got 2 more in me here. And last time. Okay, that definitely wasn't an easier one. Okay, coming up, using one knee for support. If you could have a chair nearby, we could use that chair to help us rise up as well. And again, I always like to think that this is really good for practicing getting up off the ground when we do our floor exercises. Let's do an alternate knee tap. We did this at the warm-up. Could we make this just a little bit harder by bringing the opposite elbow to knee instead? So a little bit more core. We have the option to do this in seated as well. So maybe at this point we feel like we're ready for a little bit of a break, and that would be a great option. We can do this low impact, keeping one foot on the ground at all times. Or for a few, you could add a little bit of a hop to that, increasing the intensity a bit. Last 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Okay, grab yourself a quick drink. So we've pretty much done every muscle group once. Let's just do a couple more. We had done a narrow squat with that. Can we now do a wide squat? So that narrow squat would work a little bit more of the inner part of the quadricep here. Whereas a little bit wider squat, sorry, I just reversed that. Narrow, we'll work more of the outer part of the quadricep. Whereas we take those legs wide, it will work more of the inside of the quadricep muscles. So grab a set of weights, and I'm going to do an upright row with that. So with a little bit wider, hands in front, we're going to do a bit of a squat, and then lift those arms, hands just coming to the base of the chest, and then come back down. Inhaling as we're coming down, exhale as we're coming up. Again, I'm sitting back with the hips. My knees come forward slightly, but we want to really focus on that bum coming back. Almost imagining like you're just about to sit on a low stool. And knowing that if your knees are bothering you today, maybe this is where you're at today, maybe not going all the way down. And if you feel like your knees are doing well today, you want to increase the intensity, maybe coming just a little bit lower. And 3 more. 2. And last one. Okay, and we'll release that. Okay, let's do, this next one is going to be a combination of balance and a little bit of cardio. So let's try this. Let's do a hop, 2, 3, another hop, 1, 2, 3. So a little bit of a hop. Have that chair nearby for support. If you're not sure how your balance is today, ready? Hop, another side, hop, other side, and other side. Okay, so just practicing some balance, a little bit of impact, and this might bring up our heart rate just a little bit. Now if you still got the chair there for support, but feel like you can move it around a bit, could I suggest you move side to side with that? Great. So you've got that chair just in case, knowing that if we're ever unsteady, we could touch down with that foot. And last time. Oh, okay, give that a shake. Okay, so that was our last cardio interval, and we're starting to transition to our balance phase. So if you feel like you are able to do all of that strength all over again, you have time, it would be about 20 minutes, you could rewind this video to the beginning of our strength and do that all one more time to do 2 sets of everything. So that would be an option. I'm going to continue on with the balance. So I promised some advanced balance. So that hop would be a little bit of an advanced balance thing. So let's try another one. So once again, I'm going to have my chair here. We always want to do our balance safely, just to make sure that we don't actually cause ourselves to have a fall. We want to strengthen our balance, but we won't want to do something that will actually cause us to injure ourselves. So I'm going to have my chair nearby. Here's what we're going to do. So we're going to tilt back or lean back. If it's available to you today, maybe lift those arms up at the same time and then tilt forward. This is all on one leg. Okay, let's do that again. Everything is in line, head, neck, and hips all in line, and then come back. Nice, slow, and controlled. And again, that chair is there. If you ever feel like you're a little unsteady or need to put that foot down, feel free. Arm up. And I'm going to try for 5 or 6 on one side and then 5 or 6 on the other side. So I think I'm at about 4. Can feel my right ankle really working hard there to stabilize and balance. Woo. Okay, and release that. Switch sides. Now, no, you always have options, right? If this is a lot, maybe we have our chair, maybe we just do that slight lean back and slight lean forward. So maybe that's where we're at today, and that is just fine. Maybe if we feel like we can challenge it, we might lift a little bit higher. Maybe we add the arms, maybe we don't add the arms. And then when we feel like we're confident or feel like we've practiced this a few times, we might lean back a little further and we might lean forward a little further. Okay, one more. I think that might be 6 on this side now. Great, and release that. Give that a little shake. So that was a little bit of advanced balance. That's great. I hope you were able to give that a try today. Let's move down to the ground where we're gonna start transitioning again. I love double dippers. I love kind of straining a few systems at once. Let's try a little bit of balance with core strength this time. So coming down to the ground again, using that chair for support if you'd like. Before I get down, I'm gonna show you the standing option. You could take your hands and put them on your chair, either with your palms or on your knuckles. And you could just do the arms. We're gonna do our bird dog. You could just do the arms. You could just lift the legs, or you could lift the arms and the legs for our bird dog. So, but I'm gonna do that on the ground. So if you're ready to join on the ground, grab your mat. I'm gonna double up my mat, just having a little bit more underneath my knees. Come down to our knees. I'm gonna come straight off for this one here. So I'm gonna come down to tabletop position. Again, thinking about bringing my belly button to spine, tuck my tailbone, shoulders back and down, so nice neutral spine to start with. Again, we can just do the hands with that. We could just do the leg with that, or we could do arm and leg together, which will be challenging our balance. So maybe I'm a little bit wobbly, as well as our core strength, because I'm really thinking about pulling my belly button to my spine there at the same time. If this is ever a little hard on your wrists, usually I would have a mat underneath my hands, but it's not actually that bad on your knuckles. You can do it that way, or you could have your weight. So you would hold the weight in your hand as you lift up, and then your wrist can stay a little bit straighter at the same time. Let's do a few more of those. And sometimes we think that faster is better. For our strength and our balance portions, actually slower and more controlled is actually harder and more of a challenge on our balance. So we, when possible, try to go slow and controlled. And I'm going to do 2 more here. And last time. Great job. Whew. Okay, let's give that a little bit of a break. Give that a little bit of a roll of the shoulders back and down. Great job. Okay, so let's continue on with some floor exercises here. So for this next one here, I'm going to have my mat there in front, and let's come onto our side. So kind of isolating some of our obliques just a little bit. So we're going to come down to our side. You're going to come down to one elbow. So I'm going to give you lots of options for this one to choose from. So you might think, oh, I can't do a side plank. But you know, if you have some options, it's actually not so bad. So we have our first option of we're just going to have our knees as our fulcrum point. So all I'm going to do is lift up my hips, and that's it. So my knees, my elbow is what's touching the ground. Maybe I just do that for a few seconds and I rest for a moment, and then I come back up. We're working that underside here. I could place that other hand either on my hip, or I could extend that arm all the way up. I could have the option of extending that top foot. So that would be just a little bit harder, a little bit higher intensity. Or if you wanted to, you could have both feet out and lift up so that hips are up. So again, we're in the underside. We might hold that for 3 to 5 seconds. You might give that a rest. And then you might give that one more try. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Great. Let's try that on the other side. Rolling over to the other side. onto one elbow. We have 3 options again. We might choose from our knees, hand on the hip, or hand extend up, working that underside, so lifting that hip up. And come back down. We have the option of extending that top leg and lifting up. Making sure we're taking some nice deep breaths at the same time. Or we have the option of both legs out and lifting up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back down. Whew, great job. So I didn't hold those for a long period, just because if we have hypertension or high blood pressure, we want to avoid lots of isometrics, which is holding. So that's why we're going to do those, only holding for 3 to 5 seconds. Give yourself a moment to take a break and then coming back up again. Let's try our dead bug, or as my participants like to say, almost dead bug. So we're going to lay on with that. Okay, get yourself comfortable. I think I should be in the view somewhat by now. You're going to have your weight nearby because you can use that as an alternative or an option. So we're going to, again, bring belly button to spine, engage the core. I don't want to necessarily flatten my back. I just want to turn on the core. And then we're going to lift up our arms and our legs. Here's the dead bug part. So we kind of look like a dead bug at this point, or a half dead bug. Because we're only half dead, because we're going to alternate lifting arm and leg. I could have a little bit easier option where I just bend the knee. I don't actually have a straight leg. I can make it a little bit harder by having a bent knee, but that leg moves at the hip to drop down. Or I could choose straight arms and straight legs with that. So the longer the lever, or the straighter the arms and the legs, the harder it will be. Sorry, I see my legs are coming out, but you get the idea of this. Or if you'd like, so I'm going to give you one more intensity option. You could grab that weight, have that weight overhead, and do that weight overhead with that alternating leg. Okay, just like I said a moment ago, actually the slower and the more controlled we go, then the more challenge this will be on our core. Oh, Ted's going to join us for the last few exercises. Going to join us for some core, Ted. And 2 more here. And last one. Okay, great job. Let's place our legs down. Put that weight down to the side. Be cautious we don't just flip our arm to the side. We could twist something or pull something. Okay, well, I'm going to grab my band. It's kind of nice and handy here. Well, we're going to do some floor stretches here. When I teach yoga, I'll actually use a yoga strap for this next part. But we can modify by using our band. I'm just going to double up my band so it doesn't stretch quite so much. So I've got my band doubled up. I'm going to place my right foot, the ball of my right foot, on that strap, and I'm going to gently pull with that foot just a little bit, getting a nice stretch through my calf muscle, if I'm really thinking about bringing my toe towards my shin, as well as through my hamstring, through the back of my leg. I'm going to rock my head side to side and just tuck that chin in a little bit, getting a nice little stretch through the back of the neck as well. If you're feeling a really deep stretch through the back of the neck there, it might be that we have a little bit of poke neck throughout our day. And through all of our stretches, We should be taking between 3 to 5 breaths, allowing those muscles to stretch and lengthen at the same time. Okay, bend that knee, release that. Let's switch sides, placing that strap, or strap or band. If you've got a strap up, you can use your strap. Placing that band underneath the ball of the foot again. Bring your toe towards your shin. Getting a lovely stretch to the calf muscle through the hamstring. Again, I'm going to rock my neck side to side, tuck that chin in. And release that. Okay, let's do a little hip stretch here. So let's cross our right foot over our left knee. Bring that up. This is our upside down figure 4. So I'm going to slide my hand under, grasp onto the back of my thigh, hug it towards the body. And at the same time, I'm going to take my right elbow and just gently press at the inside of that right hip. So as I pull that left leg in towards the body, I'm pushing that right knee away from the body. And that's where you're going to feel that stretch through that hip. And are you breathing? Taking between 3 to 5 breaths. Knowing our muscles lengthen and stretch way better when we breathe through our stretches. And let's release that. Let's switch sides. Cross the left leg over the right. Bring it up. Slide that hand under. Gently press the left elbow to the left inner thigh this time. Opening it through the hip as I pull my right leg in towards the chest. Let's release that. Let's roll over onto one side here. You might want to place your head. I thought I got some sort of notification there. Maybe it didn't. Okay, maybe I'm okay. I think I have someone watching. Can just give me a thumbs up if you can hear me still, please. And I'm going to switch to the other side here. I'm going to lay down, resting my head on my arm. I'm going to try not to touch my earbud this time. Grasp onto the ankle or foot. I'm going to bring my hip forward as I bring that knee back. And this is our hip flexor quad stretch. We do this oftentimes while we're sitting in the chair, just by swiveling to the side and bringing one leg back. So this is a great stretch that you could do in that case there. Okay, and release that. Okay, let's push ourselves up into seated position here. Maybe catch your breath for a moment if you feel like that was a lot, just getting up. And then however you want to get up from here, you could roll over onto your front, kind of coming into that tabletop or that bear position, walking your hands up all the way. We could also transition up by bringing that leg up, coming to one knee, and then using that knee for support, or again, using that chair if you have that chair, pressing ourselves up. So, okay, let's stretch out a little bit, our upper body now. So let's have one arm across the front. We're going to keep that shoulder down. I find we tend to do this, keeping that shoulder up towards the chin, but let's try to keep that shoulder down and then pull that arm across it. I'm just pulling just above my elbow, but it really doesn't matter if you're pulling just above the elbow or just below the elbow. Take a couple of breaths, and I tend to like to kind of shift side to side here. Just feels good on the hips because they worked a lot today. If you like to do a little flex and extend of the fingers, and that's fine too. Let's take that hand up and over like we're about to pat ourselves on the back for a great job today. Give that elbow a press, getting a stretch through the tricep muscle here. We can either press from below, or if it's available to you today, maybe pulling that arm up and over and release that. Switch sides. Other arm across the front, stretch out the shoulder. Maybe we're gonna, again, extend and bend those fingers. Let's take that arm up and back, giving a stretch through the triceps on the other side. And release that. Let's open up through the front of the body, knowing our chest muscles are one of the tightest muscles in our body between our hip flexors and our chest. Those are usually pretty tight, so this will give us a chance to open up through the chest, the front of the body. We can bring those hands back, drop those elbow or the thumbs down and back, getting a little bit more of a bicep stretch. We could bring those hands together behind and maybe lift up slightly. Again, just a little bit deeper stretch through the front of the body. Taking 3 to 5 breaths. As we're getting close to wrapping up our class, so glad you joined me here today. I hope you enjoyed this advanced strength, cardio, balance, and floor work class. Okay, and release that. Let's end with a couple shoulder rolls. I always like to end with good posture. So think about rolling those shoulders up, back, and down. So when we walk away, we've got good posture. So drop those shoulder blades into your back jeans pocket. Let's take a couple deep breaths. Inhale all the way up. And exhale. Inhale all the way up. And exhale. And last time. Great job, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Whether you've joined me live or if you are watching this at a later time, I really appreciate you watching me. Would love to hear what you thought of the video or what you thought of some of those advanced things, advanced balance. And again, start with maybe some of the easier levels, progress to some of the harder ones. And that's how you're going to improve your balance and reduce your risk of falls. Thanks for joining me. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.